let's look at the ingredients in this oatmeal. For this kind of oatmeal, the only ingredient is plain rolled oats. This may seem obvious, but many flavored or sweetened oatmeals will contain other ingredients, including lots of sugar. Many other processed foods, like breakfast cereals, cookies, and energy bars, can contain a long list of ingredients. If you have a food allergy, this is also the place to look to check if a food contains what you're allergic to. Oatmeal is a healthy choice for breakfast, but many of the most popular breakfast items aren't as healthy. Certain foods which may seem healthy are actually not very nutritious for your body. Let's take a look at Froot Loops, a common breakfast cereal that you might even have in your kitchen at home. It might sound healthy because it has fruit in the name, but the nutrition content and ingredients tell a different story. Let's take a look at the nutrition label for Froot Loops. Take a minute to see if you can find the serving size and calories per serving on the label on your own. It turns out that the serving size for Froot Loops is 29 grams. This is smaller than the serving size for oatmeal, which was 40 grams. For now, we're going to look at the nutrition facts for just the cereal, but if you're planning on eating the cereal with about a half cup of milk, you can look at this column instead, which takes into account all the extra nutrients provided by skim milk. Froot Loops have 110 calories per serving, which is less than oatmeal, which had 150 calories per serving. But watch out! This difference exists because the serving sizes are different. If we ate 40 grams of Froot Loops, we would be eating about 150 calories, which is the same amount present in 40 grams of oatmeal, or one serving of oatmeal. So a food that might seem like it's lower in calories may actually just have a smaller serving size. And as we'll see, the calories in Froot Loops are much less nutritious than the calories in oatmeal. Next, take a minute to look at the rest of the Froot Loops nutrition label. Let's see if we can compare the amount of fat, sugar, protein, fiber, and sodium in Froot Loops versus oatmeal. As you can see by looking at this comparison, Froot Loops have a little less fat per serving than oatmeal, which had 3 grams of fat. But remember, less fat isn't necessarily better. You need some fat in your diet, and most of the fat we saw in oatmeal was healthy, unsaturated fat. Froot Loops contain much more sugar than oatmeal. They have 12 grams of sugar compared to the 1 gram we saw in oatmeal. They have only 1 gram of protein compared to 5 grams. They have a little bit less fiber per serving, and they also contain 135 milligrams of sodium, while the plain oatmeal had none. Many processed foods, like bread, cereal, and pastries, contain added sodium, even though they don't taste salty. All that sodium can add up over the course of the day, so make sure you're not eating too much sodium if you're eating a lot of processed foods. Next, let's look farther down at the vitamins and minerals. You might be surprised to see that Froot Loops contain more vitamins and minerals than oatmeal, but these are added artificially. While this is better than nothing, it's generally best to get your vitamins and minerals from unprocessed foods like fruits, veggies, and nuts, rather than from sugary breakfast cereals. Finally, let's look at the ingredients in Froot Loops. Remember, as a general rule, it's best to pick foods that have shorter ingredient lists like plain oatmeal, because it means they're less processed and less likely to contain hidden unhealthy ingredients. The first ingredient on an ingredients list is the most abundant one. Notice how the first ingredient in Froot Loops is sugar. This is not a very healthy choice. Also, notice the partially hydrogenated oil, which is a code word for trans fat, the worst kind of fat for your heart. Although the nutrition label said Froot Loops have 0 grams of trans fat, companies are actually allowed to round anything less than 0.5 grams, or half a gram, of trans fat down to 0 grams. But watch out. The ingredients list is telling us there actually is a little bit of trans fat in this food. Notice how there are also lots of artificial colors added to Froot Loops. So which breakfast food is healthier? Think about what the nutrition label and ingredients list said for each food, and make a guess. If you guess that the oatmeal is healthier, you're right. It contains more protein and fiber and less sugar than Froot Loops, and it has a much shorter ingredient list, meaning it's less processed and doesn't contain any hidden unhealthy ingredients. It's okay to eat less nutritious food sometimes, so if you want to eat a bowl of Froot Loops every once in a while, that's okay. But by checking nutrition labels, you can make sure you're making healthier choices most of the time so that you get a balanced and nutritious diet.